white noise, Jim Hunt official. It's pretty cool today. We're going to have our special guest this evening is walking amongst us, and they're my guests, Christina, Rafi, Kelly, and we're going to talk about some different things about them doing a lot of haunted places around Ontario, and I want to know where else they're going. We had originally had Hauntingly Krista on, and you'll recognize her from last year. And there's a lot of things that are happening with all of them. And my interest started following Krista when she was doing all the #1 Canadian places or Ontario places that were haunted. And I was very curious about how she found out about all of that stuff. So that was a good interview. We'll ask her that a little bit again in time. Next, in 2 weeks, on November 28th, we have a guest, and her name is Michelle Desrochiers. She was on episode number 4, season 1 at Bridewith Manor, and we worked together. She helped me release quite a few spirits that night, and she's a demonologist and a UFO specialist and UAP, and so she's going to be my guest in 2 weeks as well. And then in December, we have a guest from across the pond in England, and he does the same thing but within the UK, and he investigates a lot of different places, and he's had quite a few different things happen to him. So I'm kind of interested in all of that. So without further ado, hang on a second. I want to make sure I did everything. Joe, I'm not even thinking. Black Friday is already on there. So go to my website and check out that discount. Okay. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Let's have some fun tonight. By the way, we're not going to do too many lives. I might do some questions and get that done towards the end of the interview. The interview is going to be about 35 to 40 minutes. And then maybe I'll just ask some questions and we'll let the crew go and they can go about their lovely night on a beautiful Tuesday here in Toronto, Canada. All righty. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Krista, Rafi, and Kelly. And Kelly's coming on there slowly. We got her audio. She's bringing her in there. Rafi, did I do it right this time?
No, it's Raif.
Oh, Raif.
Your wife's going to be all over you on this one.
Oh, I'm going to be completely disowned. You know that, right?
Yeah,
you can correct me at all times. Hey, Krista, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank God I can remember your name. And then Kelly, that's very easy.
You're going to remember his. Don't worry.
I will. I'll get there.
He'll get there eventually. I got faith in you, Jim.
All I know you as is the bearded zombie.
That would be me.
So, and your better half here is Kelly, who works hard at keeping a low profile.
I really do. Yes. Yeah.
We're complete polar opposites when it comes to social media.
Yeah, I love investigating, but I don't like my face out there.
Well, I was watching all of you guys on your new show, Walking Among Us, on YouTube. You guys have some very interesting connections with things, man. The last one was interesting. I don't know, where did all of that, like, to get audio is amazing. And then to have them actually have intelligent responses, and they're going on the REM pods, and you're at that hot stove lounge kind of thing. And it was amazing. I really loved it. It was kind of cool.
A time crunch too.
We only had 2 hours that day. We're typically used to either doing 5 hours or overnight. So it was a little bit of a shocker when Krista called me and she was telling me all about the place. I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, we have 2 hours. I'm like, wait, what?
I almost didn't want to do it. He almost didn't want to do it. He was like, we can't, but we did.
Well, we did it. And it was, for a 2 hour location, it proved to be the complete opposite of what at least I thought it was going to end up.
My favorite episode, to be honest.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah. I just, the activity that you three brought on, where like, it's phenomenal. It's almost like you're inviting the dead to have a conversation with you, and you're all polite. You're not being mean, you're not being aggressive, which is my fave, you know. we're not trying to pressure anybody or pressure the spirit themselves. If they want to talk, they want to talk. If they don't, they don't. And
Which we've had happen many times as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been once or twice where I've gotten a little flustered. Krista's already smiling. The Army Camp season 1, episode 2. Wow, did they not like me? And then I would leave the room and they would legitimately call my name out on the spirit box. And I'm like, come on, you got to be kidding me. And another location, remember the cabin, Krista, when you heard my voice was coming through the spirit box?
Some mimicky things, yeah.
Yeah, it was mimicking me for a while there. That was trippy.
I've been mimicked before too, which was like it was throwing them off because I was in one end of the building and they were hearing my voice through the spirit box, and I'm just going, "Are you guys like, are you being serious right now?" And then it would say almost identical to what I was saying.
Honestly, if I wasn't sitting right in front of the spirit box with them, to this day, I would have never believed them.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. That's really cool. So your YouTube channel and with Walking Amongst Us, you're getting followership, which is great. But I want to go after our little bearded zombie man here because there's some kind of a bet that you put on.
Oh, man. I was really hoping. You know what? Now I regret what you asked me earlier. This would have been off topic. Yes. I have agreed. Krista bamboozled me. Killer one day. It was a pure bamboozlement, Jim. I was not in on this at all.
No, you were pretty shocked.
Where if we hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of this calendar year, that I will sleep alone in the Conjuring basement.
Yeah.
Which is insane because I've been there. So it's not like
I'm riding on the wave of faith that will end the year at 99.99 or less.
And then hit 10,000 after.
There we go. That'll be perfect. That'll be perfect. Do you know that I know quite a few psychics that have gone in there with electronics and right up to their batteries were dead. You couldn't record anything. And they felt like they were in there for an hour and they were only in there for about 15 minutes.
I've heard that actually.
It is insane.
It's like a loss of time.
Just to, throw it at you.
Yeah.
Like,
that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna
you'll just need therapy after. We'll just figure a way. We'll
raise
money for you.
Yeah, setting up a GoFundMe for the therapy bills as soon as that investigation's done.
That's awesome. The one thing for this psychic medium is the three of you use this Ouija board. What the heck is wrong with you three? There's something wrong with you guys.
Our connection.
Krista, what's going on?
So with the Ouija board, I used to be super against it because you hear all the negative things that come with it. And there is definitely a lot of negative things that come with it. But I came to a point with investigating and also just the paranormal in general where I was connecting with things like anything could be a Ouija board. It's just a matter of how I protect myself and how I go into investigations. And same with Raif and Kelly as well. It's just another tool. And, because we've done this and we know when enough is enough to cut communication, we feel safe using it. It's not our favorite thing to use though, and we barely get activity using it at locations. It's a hit or miss tool, in my opinion.
It really is. It really is. There's been some places that we've gone and that planchette doesn't move a fraction of a hair, let alone an inch. But I myself have been obsessed with Ouija boards ever since I was a youngin' playing with them and getting the ever loving Holy Spirit scared right out of me. So, I've always been one to be like, hey, yeah, let's do it.
Growing up in Montreal as a kid, my mother absolutely refused to have one in the house. Absolutely. And of course, I didn't listen. And I brought it in, and the house was filled with flies.
Oh.
That's a good indicator that mom was right.
So she was trying to figure out all the flies. I didn't say anything, and I threw it out my back window, and I just landed in her garden. Her garden died. There was a whole bunch of shit that had happened, and it was just like, what did you do now, Jim? Like, God.
Yeah, there was only ever one found in my house, and let me tell you, after the screaming I got, none ever entered my house again. I kept them in the garage.
So I'm a kid from the 70s. So when I threw that garden through the Ouija board, like flung it into the garden, and it literally did kill some plants, but it also killed my very first pot plant that I was growing. So I was
Mom must have been happy when she found
oh
that.
yeah. Her tomatoes didn't taste weird that year, so it was great. On another note, I just because I forgot to mention it at the beginning, it looks like we have a newlywed here too, right? The last time we talked, she wasn't married, and now she's married to this man, Jordan, who's putting up with her in a good way, I guess. And
I'd say so.
Does he follow you on your investigations? What does he think?
He's gone to a couple investigations. He's a skeptic. He does believe in the paranormal.
Right.
But he goes to paranormal investigations with me to support me. It's not super his thing, but
the newlywed side, isn't that? No, I'm not making fun. That's kind of cool. It's always good to have a skeptic with you anyway.
Probably is one.
Because
I wasn't the biggest believer until I started doing this and seeing more with my own eyes of what was happening. I've always been a big person on gut feelings, and I go with that. It works for me. So going to these investigations, I didn't expect to find things, but now I'm actually seeing it. Like, I can't deny things I've seen.
I'm sitting here and I'm watching all of you, and I actually see an angel with you, Kelly.
Oh.
And it's a she, and she's to your left. So I don't often get that with guests. So it's kind of cool. And she's
what is the meaning to that then, do you think?
Anything on your left side is the heart chakra side, so it's sort of protective and it watches out for you. For me, when I've grown up, I don't know why we're talking about me, but we'll do it anyway here.
By all means.
Okay, so on the left is your heart chakra side. So I take more information that I trust on the left side of my body. Voices, touches, anything, I'll be okay with it. Anything on my right side, I'll question it. I'll ask you not to touch me. I'll ask you who you are and explain to me why you're on my right side. And it's usually demonic. And it's usually mischievous, and it's out there to cause some trouble. Now, it's not to say, as we all know, that the dark energy will give us the right answers.
That is very true.
But we will pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's what people are trying to understand. And when you're investigating, that's got to be troublesome, or to make sure. What do you guys do to clear everything when you're out and about? What do you do after you're done?
I will say, we're always told, we have, Raif, you have a guide with you, and she always tells us that we need to bring salt.
If she's watching this, she's going to kill me.
Yeah.
I promise you, we will start bringing salt. But crystals is a big thing. You have them around your neck right now, I think.
Yeah, I got some stuff with me.
Good.
There's a ritual that I partake in privately if I feel something's attached to me, which has happened a few times. I don't know why in our almost year together that these spirits seem to have a thing for attaching to me. Like, go visit the girls, they're fun too.
I think it is a male and feminine energy, though, that makes a difference.
It does. Absolutely. The male
usually with us.
Yeah.
And it depends on the era that you're investigating. Does that make sense to you too? Because I can go in to a place that was like the one in New Brunswick. This place was done in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And the male spirit in there was horrific and horrible to me, but was so kind to the sound girl who was doing the sound for the show, and very nice to her, and everything was happening. And she was hearing in her headset, "Tell Jim to F off, tell Jim to F off." And so they're going to be playing some of that and they wanted me out as soon as possible. It was
And
crazy.
that we were places that you would get nothing whatsoever. And the minute you leave the room, Krista and I,
Yeah.
you know, everything's going crazy.
Yeah. I love when that happens, Jim. Let me tell you.
You know, it does. Women are empowered. I'm telling you, on every level. We're just like, you know, they should be the leaders of our world anyway. So they should.
Don't put this to your head.
So being Kelly, for you, being the slight skeptic, what has sort of changed your mind or made you feel a little bit more understanding as to the paranormal world, what the three of us are going through? Now it's going to be you, right? So
there was a spiritual side of things. I always had that belief, but you know, we grew up and we watch all of these shows and you wonder, okay, what's made up, what's not made up. And it wasn't until we were at the Old Angel Inn and I was in a room all by myself, nobody's around, they're doing their own investigation, and I visually watched a ball move in front of me. And I had been in that room just sitting there for a while, just talking to it, and I just had this gut feeling just to keep videotaping it, and I go with my gut feelings at all times. Yeah, no, not in the basement, when I was in the wine cellar.
Yeah, Arlington.
Yeah. Oh, Arlington, sorry.
Yeah.
And it actually physically moved, and it wasn't very much, but I seen it with my own eyes, and that was the start of me actually believing in things, because I know we don't put anything on. If it's not happening around us, it's not happening. And when I'm seeing these things with my own eyes, I can't deny it anymore.
No, which is, and that's fantastic to hear. And I love having skeptics with us. And I've had skeptics in my old show, Knock Knock Ghost. And I had a skeptic with me on the last one in New Brunswick. And I'm not there to scare them or to prove anything to anyone, because I know who I am. And I sort of let that be. But it's always when we are correct, and you three are probably correct on a lot of different things, all of a sudden you have this imposter syndrome that might happen to you every once in a while, and just say, you know, this really did happen, but did it? You know, you do it to yourselves, and then we get that doubt and we feel very uncomfortable with it, right? So
there's been a couple times, I think it's happened with all three of us, Jim, where things happen and it's so an example in the Arlington Hotel as well in Paris, Ontario, when we were in the basement and Kelly was filming and Krista and I were doing EVP sessions, and we were going to listen back to an EVP and we caught it on camera. You can hear it in the episode. You hear a female voice say hi, but it sounded like it was from behind Kelly.
Old Angel. Old Angel.
Old Angel.
Sorry, Old Angel.
Yes.
Yeah, now I'm getting all confused. I'm getting them backwards. But we heard a female voice go, "Hey," from behind Kelly. And Krista and I looked at each other right away, like, am I insane? Or did you just hear that? That wasn't on that was over there. And that was one of those times you're talking about where it's like, it's so clear and it's so right in your face, but you're sitting there and you're like, that can't, we couldn't have possibly caught a disembodied voice. Did we really just get that?
And we didn't even know it was a disembodied voice at that point. We had heard it in person, and Kelly said, "Oh, play it back on the EVP recorder." And we're like, no, we didn't catch that wasn't from our recording. That was with our ears. And then in editing is when we heard it faintly on video. So it was an interesting kind of overlap there. But yeah, one of the clearest voices I've heard from a spirit to this day.
It is very cool to hear those, and it makes our job, you as an investigator, me as the psychic, that it gives us affirmations that, like, we're doing something that is important in our field. And a greater thing about this is all of us being Canadian makes a big difference in what we do and how we do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't we're not after we're not after this glory in this thing. We just want the proof, like every other person who's watching the show. We want them to feel the same way we do.
That's exactly it.
and we don't want to sell them anything. We just, here it is. This is what we're doing. So
this is what we've got, and enjoy the show. Like, you tell us what you think, but this is the evidence we caught.
And
or didn't catch.
Or didn't catch.
Or didn't catch. And it's important to have all of that where, you know, they won't say anything, and they won't say that they sat there for 7 hours and got nothing, but they got something in 15 minutes, and they blow that 15 minutes into the hour show. They never tell you that, right? So it's kind of like, well, you know, I was exhausted. I went to sleep for an hour. I heard nothing, you know. So let it be. So that's kind of cool. What was I going to ask now? Sorry, this was for something else that you did. Where was the first show that you did for season 2?
First show for season 2, we revisited a location from season 1 in Alliston, Ontario. We did a place called the McDonald Cabin on the property of the Museum on the Boyne.
So is that as active as they say it is? Because it's just sort of like, I'm trying to be optimistic about this place because it's really important. I want to go in there.
Oh yeah, we focused on the museum when we first went in season 1, and we just did a little bit in the cabin. Once we got to the cabin, we were like, we need to come back here.
Yeah.
Like feelings of it.
The feelings, and then
and it's a small place.
There was just after Krista's Estes session, we started hearing scratching on the walls. The cat balls were going crazy. There was thumps, there was knocks, and the second time around did not disappoint.
And you know what's crazy too about that location? What I love about it, it's definitely one of my favorites, is they have the stories. Obviously, the stories are out there publicly, but it's not talked about that much. Not a lot of people know about it, and it should be like lots of paranormal investigators should go there. It should be on your bucket list location for sure.
It has been. I just haven't been able to go.
That was us. I can talk to you after that, no problem. But that was the one location, I think, unless one of these two fine ladies wants to correct me. That was the only time that I've ever gotten affected to the point where my emotions went crazy.
Okay.
I had to step outside during the investigation because it just an overwhelming sense of rage came over me, and I was like, I got to get away.
Yeah, you rarely get like that.
And
that's crazy, and that's I rarely get attacked in that type of energy, and I have I've had where I go in and say, like, I'm not afraid of squat. Like, I'll go in and I'll do anything. And if I say it with such conviction, all of a sudden they literally attack you. They'll do everything in their power to give you that rage, that fear, that anxiety, and you don't know where it's coming from, where you can't even think anymore.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly what it was like, Jim. And I think I apologized to each of them after profusely, especially this one on the way home. Because I'm not like that. I'm a happy-go-lucky fun guy. I like to joke around. As you guys, if anybody that's watching is familiar with our channel, you know that Krista and I are in a forever long prank war. We always joke around. We're just ourselves.
There's a lot of comedy,
you know,
in our shows.
We're just ourselves. We like to be ourselves. So we're passionate about paranormal investigating, and we're all a bunch of hams that just like to have fun. So that's what you get in our episodes.
To say the least.
Kelly, I would have put him in the trunk on the way home and just said, hey.
I should have. I really should have.
No trunk. I could crawl over the back seat, Jim.
Okay, sorry.
So well on that
one. I'm aging myself now. That's dangerous. Everyone.
Don't worry, I'm a 70s kid too.
There you go. That's awesome. So what is the most I'm just trying to think for Krista. What is the scariest place that you've been before?
Scariest?
You've done a lot on your own, but with this, even I don't care if we're talking about what you've done in the past or Walking Amongst Us, which is what a great title, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very
good.
It
was all Raif.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was just came to me like that when I first started thinking about putting the team together. I'm like, this is what I'm going to call it. Walking among us.
I don't think there was ever a second choice.
There was never a second
No.
choice. That was the first and only choice.
That's cool. That's awesome.
But the scariest location that I feel I've ever been,
Yep.
I think, well, for the longest time it was Blue Ghost Tunnel. And I know Raif and Kelly feel the same way. When we went there to investigate it, it was so heavy and so dark. And we think it's because I can only assume the rituals and things that take place there.
Yeah.
You know, but there's a really dark energy there, and it was affecting all of us. And it instilled like this fear in myself that I have not felt at other places until we went to these ruins, which is actually our episode coming out next.
Okay.
And that also had the same level of
Intensity.
And
Okay.
like you just feel like you're being watched, and that you can't escape it almost. It's like a weight.
I understand that whole feeling about not being able to escape it. It is crazy. I get it.
Yeah, and that's what makes, because I seek this stuff out, obviously, like it's a thrill to me. So anytime things happen, like, yeah, it might be like a jump scare or like, you know, chills down your spine, but it's not like terrifying. It's like these places were terrifying in a different kind of way.
So what does your skeptic Jordan think about all of this at times? So like when something like that happens, that's our better halves. They're going, what are you putting yourself through and why are you doing it probably?
He always like asks questions about how I'm doing, like physically and mentally, and just like checks in on me. But he knows that I protect myself and that I'm safe. And if there was ever a time where I felt like it was too much, I mean, he knows that I can talk to him about that and he'd help me out. But so far, it's just that support, the communication.
That's beautiful.
I think he's happy. He's happier now that she's with us because everything seems to attach to me now. So he's like, okay,
take it on. Whatever. That's awesome. So the crystals that you use, I bring in chasolite usually, hematite. There's a few other things that I'll walk around with some sweetgrass in my pocket. I'll definitely do that. I always do my ritual as well, and that's white lighting myself. And I do a mirror around me at the same time to integrate any type of demonic attachment can't come onto me in that sense, because they're looking at themselves and they fear themselves, let alone myself.
Right.
So they just move on, and it's not always easy. And I had Michelle DeRochier. She's a demonologist. She lived in Niagara Falls for years, and they had that B&B that we did a show on. That was unbelievable. You'd hear somebody just walking down the hall and they're not thinking anything of it. And I'm just going, I could not live like that in that house 24 hours a day and not know who's there. Like, come on. You know, it's bad enough that I hear enough voices that people think I should be put in an institution already. So it's like, oh, well, that's life. And by the way, the angel is Azrael.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And Azrael's around a lot of people. So
good to know.
So that was she just said that and said, why'd you forget about me already? So see what they do, right? It's just like it's my turn too, you know.
No space for her, so
go.
she's not left out.
Thank you.
So I already asked a question about you guys supporting each other, and it's so good to see because I was watching the shows, right? And that was important to have that ability to watch out for one another. And when I watch Kelly, she gets so wide-eyed.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. I'm going, she's scaring me and I'm not there. So like, what do you do?
It's excitement, because I don't expect these things to happen. And the more that I'm there and the more that I'm seeing it, and I don't know what it is, but like I said, it's a gut feeling to me in certain places that I go. Like you were talking about the ruins.
Yep.
I just had this overwhelming feeling. I don't know if it was spiritual or if it was human or animal, but we just needed to get out of there. And a lot of the places we go to, it's a very they're not heavy places. You know, you feel good going into these places. So I'm okay when I'm seeing things happen around me, because then I just get excited for it.
Right. And that's kind of good, because you're looking out for yourself too at the same time. Because we can't do the Exorcist and do a 360 with our head to see what else is going on behind us, right? So, and it's the big deal for me now is, how many of you have been touched?
I haven't.
A couple times.
Well, we need to find it. Well, we'll have to go to that psychiatric ward. Everyone gets touched.
Okay.
It's like I told you earlier.
I know. I'll work on it. I'll do my best. But it's a lot of fun. One thing about being paranormal investigators and what you do and how you do it, you really do have the empathy towards what you're doing. It is scary, but again, you're not there to amplify something that is demonic or whatever. But if it's there, you all seem so very well prepared. And I don't see that very often with.
Have to respect what's there.
Absolutely.
That's their home. We're just coming into it.
I think honestly, and we've spoken about this, I don't even know how many times, Krista and Kelly, all three of us together, but I think that when I was forming the team, I struck it lucky that I got a hold of Krista as quickly as I did.
Yeah,
and I think not only that, but we just all meshed together so well, and we all seem to be on the same wavelength of how we want to do things and how we want to investigate. It's to the point now that Krista is my little sister. Like we have that brotherly, sisterly pranking relationship going on. You know? Or daughter, yeah. Well, then we're not talking about that anymore.
I see. That's Kelly doing something inside and just giving you guys a hard time. I can see it right now.
Well, no, it's because I'm the oldest.
No,
so we always joke about it.
She's the brunt of that joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
That before I did, I think. But no, I really do feel that we got lucky in getting Krista's attention and just the way things played out, how our team came together. And it was all just because Kelly was sick of watching me watch YouTube and go, I wish I could do that. I want to try that one day. And then one Christmas, she got me a YouTube starter kit and she's like, here, shut up and do it. So
this is
fast forward a year and a half and here we are.
Yeah.
But that's good though, because we all learn on the fly, and it's fun to have other people watch us learn as well, or we are just as surprised as the audience would be in doing what we do. Yeah. I have a calm demeanor when I go into any place, and I have to be relaxed because my idea is my energy is open to them and everything is amplified. So we get very nervous, but we're excited at the same time. And all three of you have this like little bit of purple aura colors about you. So there's some intuitive attachments to your cells that probably Kelly would have a hard time with, but I don't think that you two would at all, because there is that's got to be something that you must be able to say, hey, there's something there, or I'm feeling this, or they're talking to me, and it's deeper than that sometimes. But you can't explain it unless someone's actually in the room with you.
You know what? I know what you're talking about because I've always felt something like that within myself, but I always doubted it until we started doing these investigations, and until the three of us really got the train running full steam ahead. And then I realized that not only if I'm feeling something and I look just because I have a feeling or something, and I look back and both of them have snapped their heads at the exact same time, I know she's the skeptic, but I know that she feels stuff as well as Krista. And it's just, for me, it was a form of not seeing it on YouTube or not seeing it in movies. I was like, okay, I'm like with legitimate people who are feeling the same thing as me, looking in the same direction as me. It's not just me. You know what I mean?
And it's not like we're just or buffering each other's egos here. We're getting affirmations from people that are with us at that time. And it's always good to get those affirmations on any level.
Absolutely.
Good, bad, or indifferent. it's important for people who are going to become investigators, or you guys were inviting people, I think, to come on an investigation with you guys.
We throw contests. We've thrown 2 contests so far. We had a 500 subscriber contest where we just took the winner out a couple months ago.
Okay.
We had our 1,000 subscriber contest where the winner's coming with us at the beginning of December.
Okay.
And we have yet to decide when the next one is, but
soon.
it'll be soon.
Yeah.
Pick me.
Okay, you're
That's
hired.
already a given.
Yeah.
You don't even need to take part in the contest. Come on.
When are you free?
I'll come out with you guys whenever you want. I really will. If it works in my schedule, because I'm doing my TV thing now, which has been so long. It's been 7-8 years, and I'm so excited about it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Would you guys, I think there might be some questions, and I'm not sure because Joe hasn't texted me or anything, but does my audience or our audience, do they have any questions for you guys? Joseph?
I didn't know I had to text you. This is news.
Sorry. I wasn't putting you on the spot, Joseph. I was like, usually you say there's questions.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, let's start from the top. So, what is the Conjuring House? I don't know if we talked about it.
The Conjuring House is, if anybody's familiar with the Conjuring movies, it's a house in Harrisville, Rhode Island that is said to be, and from everything I've seen and researched on, is heavily demonic property in the US. There's supposedly behind the furnace in the basement, there's a hole in the wall where a demon is said to reside. Henceforth, that's why Krista wants to make me sleep in the basement if we hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But yeah, if you're at all familiar with The Conjuring, the movie, that's loosely based on the true story. I have read the books. I've seen documentaries, numerous documentaries about the place, and it's not somewhere I'd want to sleep in a basement.
Well, you won't go to sleep. I'm going to tell you that.
Yep, that's book number 1 that Krista's holding up out of the 3-book series.
Okay.
That's our obsessive life.
Nice. Very nice.
Always on deck.
What's the property,
Joseph?
What's the property value on the Conjuring House? I'm just kidding.
I don't know, but if you can afford to buy it off the real estate agent that now owns it, I'd love that.
Please, someone. Please.
If you hit 10K, I'll buy it. All right, next question for the group. Do you regret anything that happened during the investigation? And if so, what did you learn from it?
Never any regrets. Never any regrets, because everything that's happened, whether it's we've been very lucky. We've rarely come across anything. We've come across negative things quite a bit, but rarely, or something borderline demonic. And if that, whenever that has happened, it's taught us lessons and it's shown us something. And I mean, we're all fine, and again, we know how to protect ourselves. So, we spin it and come out on top. At least that's my.
Yeah, I'd say if I had to say I had a regret, it's a double-edged sword, because there's been times, like Krista's just commented on, that we've run into situations that are maybe not demonic. I don't personally feel. I think we got close once, maybe twice, but we haven't really delved into that darkness just yet. But there has been once or twice where I've thought in the back of my head, I regretted that we've ended a certain test or left a location when we did. But having said that, I knew that we said leaving the location or stopping the test that we were running for the best of the safety of the group. Whether it's my safety or Krista's safety or Kelly's safety. Number 1 things when I was getting this group together, and I told Krista in our first ever video chat, rule number 1, we don't fake anything. Rule number 2, our safety is top priority. So I would say that if I'm going to say I have a regret, it's like I said, a double-edged sword, because there's been certain times where I felt that we could push a little farther to get real something big, but
it could be detrimental to one of us.
Am I willing to compromise the safety of myself or one of my ladies here? just for the sake of a couple extra 1,000 views on YouTube. No,
No.
I'd rather do it the natural way where we're safe and let our channel speak for itself.
Awesome. Any more questions, Joseph?
This one's kind of easy. Have you guys all investigated together?
Nope, not yet.
No. I actually have never met them before.
We don't even know who she is.
So, what's your name again?
You're all demented, all of you.
No, we investigate all the time together, but we have yet to have the pleasure of Jim join us on an investigation.
But it will happen
But
soon
it
enough.
is soon.
I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
As are we, sir. As are we.
Oh, it'll be
Something special.
glorious.
Yes.
Last question. Do you all perform banishing rituals, ideally angelic, before engaging with entities?
No, actually,
No.
no. But we
I'm
probably should.
We gotta
probably
learn more into some of those
We probably
things.
should. I'm delving a little more into the ritual side of things. But we probably should, but at the same time, here's that double-edged sword in my head. Do I want to banish everything that I'm going to see, or do I want to experience it and take, kind of roll the dice? I'm a little, I don't know.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that a little bit, because when I first started like solo paranormal investigations, I was always like, it's always positive. If there's even a glimpse of negative, I'm cutting it. But then actually I'm pretty sure it was Jaymes. We've done some work with Jaymes White from Jaymes White Seance. And on our very, very first investigation, things started to seem like there was something just negative in the air, and it wasn't even demonic. It was just negative, and I had never pursued communication further with anything negative at that point. And Jaymes was like, no, you got to keep not yet, got to keep going with it. Like, you'll know, you got to trust your intuition, and you'll know when to cut it. Like, just because something's negative or seems negative, it could just be mischievous.
Yep. I use
So,
both. I'm a Frenchman, so I'll even make one up. So
either way, but you just never know. And being a paranormal investigator, and as I've grown as one and with my team, I've learned to not shy away from those types of things.
And sorry, go ahead, continue, Krista.
Yeah. I was just about to ramble more. That's all.
I think that just to piggyback off that, tend to do a lot with each other. I think that as we progress as a team, we're taking more and more chances. We're delving deeper into letting tests run longer, being at a location longer, trusting ourselves, trusting our feelings as a whole, all three of us combined to like kind of to one, so to speak,
right?
And starting to look at, let's go to these darker locations. Let's see what we're going to come across, because not only are we protecting ourselves and we're trusting ourselves and we're getting better at what we do, but we're getting more curious. You know what I mean? We want to provide every aspect of every sort of haunting that's out there, evidence-wise, legitimate evidence-wise. And let's face facts. Not every haunted house you go in is going to have a Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Oh gosh, no.
For sure. And we also want to try to start to like help spirits, and we've started to do that. You'll start to see it in more of our investigations if you start from episode 1 till now. Is sometimes we'll come across something that seems stuck, and we'll use the words like, you can cross over, go to the light, kind of thing.
It's important.
I'd like to start diving into that more as well eventually, but that all comes with time, because I'm obviously not a professional in crossing over spirits, but it's all with intention, right?
It's the intent that most spirits will listen to you for.
Yeah.
The spirits that are stuck in a loop, and I don't know if you've heard of those are the most difficult to move into a light. And that's where you have to do your history on this person that is assumed that is in that home or on the ground somewhere, and they're going through a loop. And the idea behind that is to get their attention away from that.
Give them something to ground to.
Yeah. And usually it's weirder. The weirdest things, this woman was hit in Toronto on Coxwell and O'Connor. And she died there, hit by a taxi. And this is years and years and years ago, because I had seen her at a restaurant that we used to go to, and I'd see it almost every Friday. And I couldn't get her to leave that intersection. So all I did was I dropped the book in the middle of the intersection and left it there. It got her attention. I was able to get her attention and just said, your mom's waiting for you. Look at the light. And boom, she's gone. I've never seen her at that corner again. But it's doing history, right? It's trying to figure out how you can get their attention. So those are good things that you'll get to learn. So those are going to be fun for you guys.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Always learn.
How do we get a hold of you if anybody has a place that they want to be investigated by you?
The easiest way would be to reach us at our team's email address. It's teamwalkingamongus@gmail.com. You can always, if you forget that or you haven't gotten a pen yet, you can always comment on one of our videos on YouTube, or you can reach out to Hauntingly Krista on TikTok, or myself, Bearded Zombie, on TikTok.
Not me.
Kelly has like one video, but as Jim found out, she's very hard to find on social media. But yeah, Hauntingly Krista, Bearded Zombie.
I'm just Kelly.
teamwalkingamongus@gmail.com.
Okay. Now, is there any advice that you can give to future paranormal investigators? Now, why I'm asking this is because we have a lot of people out there that are horrible at it. Okay.
Two things.
Go ahead.
One, it's a lot of work. A lot of people think it's fun, and don't get me wrong, we have a ton of fun, but there is so much work involved, especially when you start getting involved with townships and cities, getting permits and this and all the research, everything you got to do. Number two, it can get dangerous. Don't think it's all fun and games. When you go into some of these locations, and I know I just said that we're looking to start going into darker locations.
Yeah, but we've learned a lot.
We've learned a lot over the year we've been doing this together, and longer individually. It's not all fun and games. It can get dangerous. I've had 2 attachments. I think Krista's had one, but it was not as bad as my first one. That's for sure. Kelly,
your energy sick, but it's not fun.
Just protect yourself. It can get dangerous, and it is a lot of work. But at the same token, when we get to sit back on a Friday night when our episodes air and we're watching it, and we got all the comments in the chat flying out the handle, it's just, it makes everything so much worth it and gives you that fire to keep going.
That's awesome. And you know, this is not a family channel. You could have F-bombed all night and I wouldn't have said it.
Are you kidding me, Jim? I've been holding that shit in for the last hour and you didn't tell me?
We had a comment once on our YouTube channel where someone was like, why do I swear so much? And ever since, I feel like you've
calmed down a little bit.
I've tried. I didn't know this was a free range. I would have been dropping left, right, and center.
I'm being an asshole right now, but it's the truth. I use the F-bomb every 30 seconds as much as
we all have potty mouths.
Yeah, I know.
That was very gracious of all 3 of you not to use the F-bomb tonight. So
I wish I would know though.
I do have a piece of advice as well for anyone who is specifically if you're a paranormal investigator that wants to put content out into the world, whether that be TikTok, YouTube, whatever. A lot of people have told me that they're scared or like nervous about what people are going to think about them.
Right.
Don't think about what other people are going to think about you, because you're going to find the paranormal community is so kind, and you'll find people in this industry, this niche, that you'll connect with and that are going to love what you put out there and just feed off of you. They'll give you advice, etc. And anyone who's going to be a hater, there's haters everywhere. Like, just disregard it.
I was just gonna say, there's haters in every aspect of life. You can't care what they say. If you do, you might as well not get out of bed. Don't pay attention to what the naysayers say. Just
to go out there. If you're having these feelings like you want to do this, do it. 100% do it. Put yourself out there and try, do things by yourself if you don't have a community yet, but try to find a community, join some Facebook groups. find some like-minded people, because it's so important to do this with multiple people, because like Rafe said, sometimes it can get dangerous, and safety in numbers.
Safety is very important in numbers. I've been blessed to always be able to go out with a crew. So, and it was just something that they wanted to do. I would do my ritual with them. I would actually smudge them because they were so new. It was, I'd be so responsible for them. And I would also smudge my crew, let them go, make sure that everyone's safe to go in and out. And anybody that puts up, like I must get one hate mail a week.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I look at it and I'm just like, I don't know why they're doing it, but it's important to them to do it. And all I just do is just delete and block, or just ignore it unless they're continually to do so. But it's like water off a duck's back. I've been doing this. I'm 65. I'm the old man now. And I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. I've been made fun of from the age of 5 to present day for 60 years of that. And you just go, you know, you're allowed to do that. Most people, the bullies, are more afraid of us than we are of them.
That's exactly it.
Every now, just keep remembering, every now and again, bullies get scared. They get bored in mom's basement, so they want to lash out.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Just think about when you're in a really awesome haunted location and you're getting the best paranormal evidence, and then little Sally Sue is just having a conniption in her basement, you know.
Let me tell you 2 places that are not haunted.
Okay.
Kelsey's downtown.
Yeah. Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
I've tried and tried and tried for years. And Casa Loma.
Really? I thought Casa Loma was haunted.
Stories too, yeah.
I thought it was just, you know,
I've had experiences there.
The haunting part is who we're inviting there. But rarely do they want to come in and talk or do anything. They all think we're assholes.
Yeah.
So they just don't bother. And it's because we've done a show there, and we just didn't air it because we had nothing.
Yeah.
So what would have been the scariest place that you've been to then, Jim?
The one in New Brunswick.
Really, was it?
Just did. There were so many things that happened to me that my audience will find out eventually. Is I was pushed from this house was collapsing, and he wanted to renovate it, and he bought the land off a hoarder. But there were 3 suicides in the house. By the owner committed suicide, the father committed suicide, but the husband's wife, she committed suicide in the bathroom, but wasn't found for a month.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's
so, it was one of the scariest places that I was in. And the house is slowly collapsing, and they so after my episode, I can't say what they're going to do to the house because it has to be aired, but there were 9 people with me. Only 3 stayed in the house with me.
Oh wow. Yeah, that says a lot.
And I was pushed from the stairs that were collapsing to the middle of the floor where there was a hole to go down to, and I could not control myself from stopping being pulled to the hole. That is the scariest thing that ever happened. I was mad as F, and I was super, super angry at the whole thing, you know, because I have a 6-year-old, I have a beautiful wife, I have a great life, and I didn't want anything to happen. And I was basically like, you know, when you're stuck in the ice and you're holding on to the thinner parts of ice, I was in the hole holding on so I wouldn't collapse and go down another floor.
Wow.
So that's the scariest part. And then I came home and I was sick for 3 days, and I was in the hospital because I got really, really sick.
Oh gosh.
So
You want to get dragged down a hallway, Krista?
So that is the scariest for me, and that was this year, and I've done a lot in my lifetime, but that was the worst.
Wow.
Worst of the worst. And the dead took pleasure out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And see,
may
that
not
like,
be a place I want to go
that's
visit.
that, and I was just gonna say that's the weirdo in me who I'm sitting here going, I want to go there.
Oh, you know, I would
want
go
to
with
see
you.
that. I know you'd go
I-
with me. You'd
I'd
probably
still
be
go.
through the door before I would be.
I want to go.
Right? It's.
We have no fear in this group. That is our biggest
I
issue.
don't think that we've gotten enough. We haven't gotten nearly anywhere near that kind of a scare to have us sit back on our hands and go, well, do you remember what happened here? This place is similar to that. Like, I know that don't worry, Krista, I'm not giving anything away. Our season 2 for Walking Among Us on YouTube, our season 2 finale location will be our first endeavor into the US, into one of the more demonic properties there. So I won't lie that I'm already nervous about it, but at the same time, I am so pumped. I am so stoked to go
We
there.
have a lot of time to research for that one, though, so that's a good thing.
And we have to do research. And every paranormal investigator, you do need to research, because if you're not psychic, you're not protected. You're not being able to see what I see. And it's not that I'm better than you. That's not what I'm saying. You really need to pay attention, because the people that I worked with, they were not any better. Even after doing the show, they said it took a month for them to calm down.
Wow.
So, and that was a whole crew, which was pretty scary. I can't believe it's an hour.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
Oh, that's
already?
And look at me.
I'm glad you're having fun.
Right? Well, you were all nervous before. Now she's like, let's go another hour.
Part 2.
I want you to give me some more information so that everyone could approach you. I am looking forward to joining you. You figure it out and I'll join you. That is a given. That's a promise.
Thank you.
Just tell me where they can reach you once again. Tell me Walking Among Us is on YouTube. You have a lot of followership. You guys have a lot of good people paying attention to you, so it's beautiful. Thank you very much for being my guests, by the way.
Thank you for having us.
For having us.
It was a pleasure.
I'm so happy that we can make this work.
That's awesome. So again, if they need to get a hold of you, it's at teamwalkingamongus@gmail.com.
That's correct, sir. And
all right. And if we have any issues on any level, let's just reach out, and I'll help you. If you need the help, just reach out to me. That's what we're here for.
Thank you so much. And yeah, anybody that's in that situation where you think you're sitting there on your couch watching this or on your chair and you're like, I don't know, I don't want to be the weird one that emails. Don't feel that way, because I know that there's somebody that reached out to me that said she had been contemplating reaching out to me for close to a year since I even announced before the team started.
She was just embarrassed.
And she was just embarrassed. And I said, don't be embarrassed. This is what we're doing. This is what we do. Whether it's
trained to do.
Yeah, this is whether it's a business.
I'm allowed to say that, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. No, this is what we've been working at. Well, I know myself personally, my whole life I've been into this. So, we're here. If you need us, we're here. Reach out to us.
And just one last thing. Make sure to subscribe to Walking Among Us official on YouTube, because we have a new episode coming out on Friday at 8 p.m.
I'm watching. I'm paying attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So and you're so welcome. And I hope we get you back on again.
I love it.
We'll do it again this year sometime, and we'll just have some fun with it. My only thing here is, because we didn't tell you in the green room, I have to say goodbye to everyone. I want to reach out to the three of you, and let's talk on like sometime this week or next week, whenever you're free, and we'll do a Zoom call, and we'll talk about meeting.
You let me know when you have time.
Yeah.
And I'll make time.
I'll make the time as well, and we'll just have a lot of fun. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you very much. And it's Raif.
Raif, yeah, that was the closest you got. I'll give it to you. Let's go.
And Kelly, all of you, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, kids. Take care. We'll talk again soon. Thank you. Bye now. Hey guys, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. They're a good bunch of people. I I'll join them and we'll have some fun and we'll just get to do this all together again. Sorry about no lives tonight, but they had an interesting thing to talk about. In 2 weeks, Michelle DeRochier, who I've known for a very long time and is just an amazing person to talk to on demonology and the UFOs. So that's on November 28th. There's the Black Friday special that's going on my website. It's a great thing. I want to thank everyone for the parties that I've been doing too now. I'm back out on the road, and it's only in Canada right now. I'm not in the US. It's just a lot to do towards this year. I do have the pilot coming out for the new TV show, which I'm not allowed to tell you the name of, but it's going to be fun. And I'm going to ask if I can play the trailer for all of you on the 28th before I invite Michelle on. So we'll just see if I can get permission to do that. If you are looking for help, just reach out and we'll do our best to help you. I want to thank all of you for paying attention and listening to the show. It was such a pleasure. Joe, thank you so much. You're a good man.
You too, buddy.
All right. We're going to say goodnight to everybody now and enjoy yourself. And just keep following us on Instagram, Jim Hunt Official, TikTok the same. And have a great Thanksgiving to all my American friends. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye now.